If you want people to respect you, you must first establish clear boundaries. Too often, people get disrespected because they allow it, sometimes without even realizing it. They tolerate behavior that should have been shut down immediately, thinking it's not a big deal, that they're being nice or that ignoring it will make it go away. But here's the truth. Disrespect grows when it's unchallenged. The moment you let it slide, you're silently telling people it's acceptable, and they will keep pushing further. Setting boundaries isn't about being aggressive or confrontational. It's about communicating with certainty. If someone constantly interrupts you, talks over you, or dismisses your opinions, you don't just let it happen. You don't laugh it off or pretend it doesn't bother you. You address it. You look them in the eye and say, "I wasn't finished speaking." You don't have to raise your voice or get emotional. Just state it firmly. The way you say it matters more than the words themselves. A calm, controlled tone signals confidence. A desperate, frustrated reaction signals weakness. Many people hesitate to enforce their boundaries because they fear making others uncomfortable. But think about this. When someone disrespects you, they aren't concerned about your comfort. Why should you hesitate to protect your space? It's not your job to make everyone happy at your own expense. Strong boundaries don't push people away. They filter out those who don't belong in your life. The ones who truly respect you will adjust. The ones who don't will either disappear or reveal their true nature. Either way, you win. Another mistake people make is setting boundaries inconsistently. One day they stand up for themselves, but the next they let things slide because they don't want to deal with conflict. This sends mixed signals, making it easy for people to test your limits. If you want lasting respect, your standards must be non-negotiable. You don't tolerate rudeness on Monday, but accept it on Friday just because you're tired. You don't allow someone to belittle you in private, but expect them to treat you well in public. Your rules apply at all times, in all situations, with all people. Sometimes disrespect comes disguised as humor. Sarcastic remarks, passive-aggressive comments, or jokes at your expense. Never laugh along just to fit in. The moment you play along, you've given permission for it to continue. Instead, respond in a way that makes it clear you won't entertain it. You can say, "I don't find that funny," or simply stay silent and let the discomfort sink in. Silence can be more powerful than words. It forces people to reflect on what they just said. Ultimately, people will treat you the way you train them to. If you make it clear that certain behavior is unacceptable, they will either respect your boundaries or remove themselves from your life. Either way, you create an environment where respect is the standard, not the exception. People judge you before you even say a word. The way you carry yourself, the way you enter a room, the way you look at someone. All of these things send a message. If you want respect, you have to master nonverbal dominance. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room, but you do need to command presence. The first step is posture. Stand tall, shoulders back, chest open. A slouched posture makes you look weak, unsure of yourself, and easy to overlook. When you walk into a room with confidence, people take notice. They sense your energy before you even speak. Eye contact is just as important. When you look people in the eye, you show that you are present, that you are not intimidated, and that you expect to be acknowledged. Too many people look down, shift their eyes around, or glance away too quickly. It makes them seem insecure, as if they're seeking approval. Strong eye contact doesn't mean staring people down aggressively. It means holding a steady, relaxed gaze that shows certainty. When someone speaks to you, look at them as if their words matter, and when you speak, expect them to do the same. Your tone of voice can either command respect or diminish it. People who mumble, speak too softly, or use too many filler words give away their power. Every word you say should have weight. Speak clearly and don't rush. Take your time. The more deliberate your speech, the more authority it carries. And remember, silence is just as powerful as words. Sometimes pausing before you respond makes people lean in and listen more closely. It shows that you're in control, not just reacting impulsively. Body language extends beyond posture and eye contact. It includes the way you move and take up space. When you sit, sit with confidence. Don't shrink yourself. Don't fidget, tap your fingers, or shift around nervously. These small habits may seem harmless, but they signal uncertainty. Instead, stay composed. Move with purpose. When you gesture, do it deliberately, not erratically. People who move with intention project a sense of calm authority, while those who are constantly adjusting and twitching appear unsure. Another key to nonverbal dominance is how you handle disrespect in the moment. If someone interrupts you, you don't immediately jump back in trying to talk over them. Instead, you pause, look at them, and wait. That silence alone can be more powerful than words because it forces them to acknowledge what they just did. If someone invades your space, you don't step back, you hold your ground. These small, subtle actions tell people exactly who you are. Respect isn't demanded with words, it's commanded through presence. People will instinctively treat you the way your body tells them to. When you move with confidence, maintain strong eye contact, and control the energy in the room, you don't have to ask for respect. You naturally receive it. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. It all starts with how you see yourself, how you carry yourself, and how you treat yourself on a daily basis. People take their cues from you. If you don't value your own time, others will waste it. If you don't take care of your appearance, others will take you seriously. If you don't speak with confidence, others will ignore your words. Self-respect is the foundation of how the world treats you. The first step is self-discipline. You can't expect others to respect you if you have no control over yourself. If you constantly procrastinate, make excuses, or let bad habits run your life, you're sending the message that you don't take yourself seriously. Discipline means doing what you say you will do, even when no one is watching. If you say you'll wake up early, you do it. If you commit to a goal, you follow through. This builds an unshakable inner strength that people can sense. They may not know exactly why they respect you, but they will feel it. Your appearance also plays a role. It's not about wearing expensive clothes or looking like a model. It's about presenting yourself as someone who values themselves. A well-groomed, put-together person signals self-respect. If you walk around looking like you don't care about yourself, why should anyone else? It's not about impressing others. It's about sending a message that you hold yourself to a certain standard. The way you speak and carry yourself also tells people whether they should respect you. If you constantly apologize for things that don't require an apology, if you downplay your achievements, or if you speak with hesitation, you make yourself small. Respect yourself enough to own your words. Say what you mean without looking for validation. People can sense when someone values their own voice, and they respond accordingly. Another key part of self-respect is knowing your worth and not settling for less than you deserve. This applies to relationships, friendships, and even your career. If you tolerate mistreatment, if you let people take advantage of you, or if you stay in situations that drain you, you're telling the world that you don't value yourself enough to walk away. People who respect themselves have no problem cutting off those who don't treat them right. They don't beg for attention or chase after approval. They set their standards and let the right people rise to meet them. At the end of the day, respect starts from within. You can't fake it, and you can't demand it from others if you don't first give it to yourself. When you carry yourself with discipline, confidence, and self-worth, people have no choice but to recognize it. Respect isn't something you ask for, it's something you embody. Too many people talk just to fill the silence. They over-explain, seek validation, or ramble in an attempt to justify themselves. But real respect comes from speaking less and meaning more. When you choose your words carefully, people listen. When you speak with certainty, you don't need to explain yourself repeatedly. The more you talk just to be heard, the more you dilute your own power. Every word you say should serve a purpose. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you have. Most people are uncomfortable with silence, so they rush to fill it. But those who are truly confident have no problem letting their words hang in the air. When you say something important and then pause, it forces others to process your words instead of immediately reacting. This makes your presence stronger. You don't need to fight to be heard. You let the weight of your words do the work. Another key is eliminating unnecessary filler words. People who constantly say, or like, weaken their message. They sound unsure of themselves, as if they're waiting for permission to continue. When you remove those fillers and speak with directness, your words gain impact. You don't ask for permission, you make statements. Instead of saying, I think we should do this, say, we should do this. Instead of saying, maybe we could try this idea, say, this is the right approach. People respect decisiveness. Confidence in speech also means not feeling the need to justify yourself constantly. If you make a decision, stand by it. If you have an opinion, own it. Too often, people weaken their own stance by over-explaining why they feel a certain way. They say, well, I just thought maybe it would be a good idea because, instead of simply stating their point. You don't owe everyone an explanation for everything you do. When you stop over-explaining, you train people to accept your words at face value. Another mistake people make is talking too much in high-stakes situations. If someone challenges you, you don't need to launch into a long defense. A short, firm response is more effective. If someone tries to undermine you, you don't need to explain why they're wrong. A simple, that's not how I see it, or we're going to do it this way, shuts things down without giving them room to argue. The more you say, the more ammunition you give to those who want to test you. Speaking less also forces people to value your words more. If you're the person who only speaks when you have something meaningful to say, people naturally pay more attention when you do talk. They know you're not wasting words, and that gives you a quiet authority. Respect isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about having a presence that commands attention without needing to demand it. Disrespect should never be ignored. The moment you let it slide, you give people permission to do it again. Many people avoid confrontation because they fear conflict, but handling disrespect doesn't mean losing control or getting aggressive. It means addressing it directly and calmly, making it clear that certain behavior will not be tolerated. When someone crosses the line, you don't react emotionally, you respond with strength and composure. One of the most effective ways to handle disrespect is by calling it out in the moment. If someone interrupts you, talks down to you, or makes a sarcastic remark at your expense, don't just brush it off. Look them in the eye and say, I wasn't finished speaking, or that was unnecessary. Keep your tone controlled. The more composed you are, the more uncomfortable they will feel. Many people who disrespect others expect no pushback. The moment they see you won't tolerate it, they think twice before doing it again. It's also important to match the level of disrespect appropriately. Not every situation requires a long conversation. Sometimes a simple look or silence is enough. If someone tries to belittle you with a passive-aggressive comment, responding with complete silence can be more powerful than words. It forces them to sit in their own discomfort and realize that their attempt to undermine you has failed. If they push further, then you can address it directly. If there's something you need to say, just say it. This shifts the pressure back onto them. At times, people will test you just to see how much they can get away with. They might make small, subtle, disrespectful comments to gauge your reaction. If you let the first one slide, they will keep pushing further. This is why it's critical to shut it down early. You don't need to argue or explain, just be firm. That won't work with me. A simple statement like that sets a boundary without unnecessary conflict. Another key to handling disrespect is never reacting emotionally. The moment you let someone get under your skin, you give them power over you. They want to see you frustrated, defensive, or rattled. Don't give them that satisfaction. Instead, stay composed and controlled. If someone tries to provoke you, Take a breath before responding. Sometimes the best response is, "Are you done?" or "Moving on." This shows that their attempt to get a reaction from you has failed, and they lose their sense of control over the situation. The truth is, people will only treat you the way you allow them to. If you consistently shut down disrespect, people will learn very quickly that you are not someone to test. They will either adjust their behavior or they will disappear from your life. Either way, you win. Respect isn't demanded through aggression. It's earned through quiet strength, firm boundaries, and the ability to handle disrespect without losing your composure. The people around you shape how others see you. If you surround yourself with those who don't respect you, who belittle you, or who constantly test your boundaries, you are silently telling the world that this is acceptable. Respect isn't just about how you carry yourself, it's also about the company you keep. If you want people to treat you with dignity, you must first ensure that those closest to you do the same. One of the biggest mistakes people make is keeping toxic individuals in their lives out of habit or fear of being alone. They tolerate disrespect from friends, family, or colleagues because they think they have no choice. But the truth is, you always have a choice. You decide who gets access to your energy, time, and attention. If someone consistently disrespects you, ignores your boundaries, or treats you as an afterthought, they have no place in your life. The longer you allow them to stay, the more you reinforce the idea that their behavior is acceptable. Respect is contagious. When you surround yourself with people who value and uplift you, others take notice. They see that you are not someone who tolerates negativity or mistreatment. This doesn't mean cutting people off at the first sign of conflict. It means recognizing patterns. If someone makes a mistake and corrects it, that's different from someone who continuously disrespects you, despite being confronted. Learn to distinguish between the two. Your standards determine your circle. If you want to be respected, you must choose people who respect themselves and others. Pay attention to how your friends treat strangers, service workers, and those who can do nothing for them. If they are rude, dismissive, or condescending, it's only a matter of time before they turn that behavior on you. Likewise, if your circle is full of people who gossip, complain, and tear others down, you will inevitably become associated with that negativity. Sometimes raising your standards will cause people to leave. That's a good thing. The right people will either step up or stay where they are. Never lower your standards to keep people in your life. Real respect comes from holding firm, even if it means standing alone for a while. In time, you will attract the right individuals who align with your values, who see your worth, and who reinforce the respect you demand. You don't have to announce that you expect respect. You show it through your actions, through the boundaries you set, and through the people you choose to keep close. When you build a strong circle of those who uplift and respect you, that energy becomes undeniable. Others will recognize it, and they will know immediately that disrespect is not something you entertain.